program, House Intelligence Committee Chairman Devin Nunes told us about the reports that he saw, which confirm, in fact, the Trump team, including the president-elect, was surveilled. He also told us the intel that he saw indicated that more American names were unmasked, and he was asked about this earlier today. Take a look.
In the documents you reviewed, how many names were unmasked?
I don't know that yet. So I'm aware of, just so I can be perfectly clear, so there was additional unmasking that was done in the documents that I read the other day. I don't know who asked for them to be unmasked. I just know that there are more. Now, just so you know, I was aware of the unmasking before I read the documents.
All right. Also, as we told you last night, Fox's own James Rosen is reporting that, according to his sources, Republican congressional investigators expect a potential, quote, smoking gun that will show the Obama administration spied on the Trump transition team and possibly the president-elect himself. Here with reaction tonight, former spokesman for the U.S. ambassador to the UN, Rick Grinnell, from the American Center for Law and Justice, Jay Sekulow, and from TrumpNews. She's been all over this story. Sarah Carter is back with us. All right, Sarah, let's start with what Devin Nunes said last night, and more importantly, what James Rosen is reporting here. You know, did the Obama administration, is it possible that under the guise of intelligence gathering, that they were actually spying on an incoming president or president-elect, or even before an election, which is something you've been reporting?
According to my sources, Sean, that is what they think. And so I think what Devin Nunes said and what the chairman said is that we're still looking at the reports. We're still trying to see the evidence. Now, remember, this was legally done. And Chairman Nunes made very clear that this was legally done, but it doesn't mean it was right. And under the guise of that legality, was there political espionage? And I think that's what he wants to find out. And the only way we're going to find that out is by knowing who authorized the unmasking of the names, how many names were unmasked, was there a difference between unmasking the people on the Trump campaign and the Trump team with regular American citizens? I mean, if all we see unmasked is Trump campaign and team members, then that's going to definitely be a clue.
And Jay, you know, we're talking about a number of things here. Number one, unmasking, revealing names. That shouldn't happen when, in fact, they're surveilling a legitimate target or enemy, if you will, or maybe an ally that they're spying on. Well, they're supposed to minimize that. Then on top of that, then we've got what we know is a crime, which is leaking. Let's talk about the legal side of what is in play here.
So this is the overlooked portion, and that is the leak of this information is a violation. It's a felony. You go to jail for up to 5 years per episode. So if there's multiple leaks from the same person, it could be multiple count indictments, which is, by the way, what should be being looked at here. That's why I've been urging the impaneling of a grand jury, and that may be going on for all we know, to engage in the investigation. Now, if this was before that Executive Order 12333, it was a very limited number of people would have had that information. So we know some of it is that. After the 12/33/333 date, we know that went to 17 more agencies. That makes it more difficult. But the chairman yesterday on your broadcast said that some of this was from October, November, and December, and that was before 12/30/333. So that means the list of people should be narrow that could have engaged in both the leak and the unmasking. So we need to determine that. And I think what Sarah said is right. The fact is, if you've got a presidential, at one point, the Republican nominee, then the president-elect, being evaluated or surveilled by the intelligence agencies, this raises a whole host of legal issues.
It really does. Rick Cornell, let's talk about it from the angle of your background and experience and what you see was done wrong here.
Look, Sean, I had an intel briefing every day for 8 years. I never got to see raw intelligence. Transcripts and summary of transcripts is really something that's outrageous. That shouldn't have been done. This unintentional sweep that becomes an intentional leak looks to me like a political ploy. It started very early. We know that it started way before the transition started. So I think that there's a very serious political issue. They are claiming, the Obama team is claiming that this is a safe legal issue because they were supposedly trying to listen to foreigners. But within that realm, there could have easily been a political calculation to listen in And then to take those transcripts and the summaries of those transcripts, make sure that those in the NSC and the political people like Ben Rhodes and Susan Rice, make sure that they have them so they can leak them to the reporters, and there you go with more rumors out in there.
That's really well said.
It's really been a problem. They're pushing rumors
Sarah,
and then saying, let's investigate the rumors.
Sarah, I think we have a series of unanswered questions here that need to be investigated. From the journalistic side, where the story goes next, what are the questions you want answered? Then I'll ask Jay on the legal side.
I want to know who authorized the unmasking of the names. If those authorizations included Trump team members, was it just focused on that? Because we're talking about before the expansion of the 12333 executive order. I want to know if they can narrow it down enough to find out who was the person or persons that leaked General Flynn's name? Are they connected with the unmasking of names, of other names on the Trump team? I mean, these are questions that have to be answered so that we can move forward. But like I've said, Sean, I mean, right now, this is what I know. The Department of Justice has not yet authorized the FBI to open an investigation into the leak.
Yeah.
And that's what I've been told by my sources. And that has to happen. That has to happen.
Jay? On the legal side.
Well, I think I want to know what James Clapper might have had to do with this. I want to know what Attorney General Loretta Lynch had to do with this. I want to know what John Brennan had to do with this. I'd like to know what the president knew or did not know. I think the question you've asked, Sean, since the outset, who knew, when did they know, what did they know, needs to be answered. And that goes to the highest levels of our government. The idea that a presidential president-elect was being spied on by the United States, quote, incidentally, should raise all concern with all Americans, right, left, or center.
Rick, last word.
Look, I think that it'd be easy just to figure out if Susan Rice and Ben Rhodes knew about this, because if they did, clearly President Obama knew about it. That's the political team inside the NSC. They would have been trying to help do something against Trump during the election. So I think let's just figure out if they knew, and we'll have something leading right to a political scheme right there.
This is going to get bigger and bigger. I agree, totally. And I bet I know the answer, too. All right, guys, we'll stay on this because it's important. All right, thank you all. Have a great weekend.